My mom and I had the same dream at the same time and woke up at the same time. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by MXNDX420. I've been told to post this here because it's pretty creepy. I was about 4, and my dad had died 2 years prior. I was sleeping with my mom because I was 4, I don't know, and the dream was my mom, my dad, and I on a boat in a river that seemed to be by Miami or something because the buildings were really colorful. We were sailing until the sky got really dark and lightning struck, and I woke up. A few years later I was telling my mom about it when she said she too had that dream that night and woke up when I did. It's just weird. Wished a measuring cup into existence. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by AJRe210. I got a dog recently. She's still just a pup but getting bigger, and I realized I should probably be measuring her food. I was just doing a handful per mealtime. The previous owner said about a half cup until a certain age is about enough food for her now. Not wanting to sacrifice my only half cup from my kitchen, I decided to get a cheap plastic one the next day after work to just leave in the food bag. The next morning, I take my pup out for the morning bathroom walk before work. Zelda walks off the path to do her business, and I spot something in the grass. A plastic half-cup measuring cup just sitting there a few steps off the concrete path. I picked it up, and it looked practically brand new. Now I have a measuring cup, I guess, but it still weirded me out. Lost wallet falls at my feet. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Dovewing. I think I just witnessed my first glitch in the Matrix, or a certain type or one called the Dropper. Obviously I go straight to Reddit for answers. Anyway, here's my story. So I was at the local library after school, like I am every day. The library is right next to my school, and I decided to check out a book on my way home. I checked it out, taking out my wallet from my backpack. I put my library card back in the wallet and thought I put it back in my backpack, but the next morning when I went to retrieve it from my backpack, it was nowhere to be seen. People in my town are very nice, so after panicking for 5 minutes, I decided if one of the librarians must have seen me leave it on the self-checkout counter, they would return it to me again after school when I went back. I went to school regularly, and after the bell rang to second period, I went to my locker. I opened it, and the wallet just fell at my feet. I checked around my backpack to see if it was open, and I had left the large pocket open, but this morning I knew I had emptied it. And I also searched thoroughly in all pockets when looking for it. I have no idea what happened, and I am more than fairly concerned about this. Vanishing product at work. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Thrillhouse77. I work in a small shop, and the other day I was working stock. So I opened a fridge with a packet of ready cooked chicken, and there was already a pack on the shelf. But I could get the one I was holding out, so I took the packet on the shelf out and placed the one I had in my hands on the shelf, as it had a newer date on it. But here's where the strange thing occurred. The other packet of chicken that I put down had gone. I looked all over the shelf and it wasn't there. On the floor around me, and on the fridges next to the one I was in front of, in case it fell, but nothing. I told my friend who was working with me, and he agreed it was weird. I said, "You saw me with the chicken, didn't you?" And he agreed. I had it, and he looked around the floor and around the corner, but it hadn't moved from the spot. A very strange occurrence, and nothing similar has happened before or since with me. I pulled a physical object straight out of a dream. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Primal Redemption. Have you ever had a dream where you became filthy rich or felt the ecstasy of finding gems and gold only to wake up empty-handed and depressed? The reason we can't retain objects we find in a dream, no matter how hard we grasp onto them or how real they feel to us, is because they only exist in our minds. There is no tangible, palpable substance behind them. Seems reasonable enough, right? Well, there is an exception. In The Art of Dreaming, Don Juan explains to Carlos Castadena that once one develops the ability to see, a most peculiar discovery takes place while dreaming. One finds that, amidst the assortment of made-up characters, imaginary scenery, and mind-made objects in a typical dream, there are actual real beings that have an existence independent of your mind. Sound creepy? It is. These beings can be identified as real by the fact that they emanate energy of their own, a buzzing, bumbling pattern uniquely their own, while the rest of your dream is just imagery. I call them entities, and here's my story. A few years back, I lived alone in a refurbished school bus. The high-grade steel walls, ceiling, and floors were excellent for shielding EMF, far more effective than tinfoil head apparel. So one night I was having a typical dream, but kept finding myself bothered by a bug flying around. It was not the first time I had been bothered by it. It was quite large, about the size of a grapefruit, and appeared as a fly or mosquito. It had rather violent and intense electrical buzzing to it, disturbing my sleep by its pestering presence. On this particular night I got really fed up with it, and I fiercely grabbed it with my hand. It was intense and was fighting to get free, as if I was being mildly electrocuted holding on to it. Either from the exertion or the shock, I woke up while still grabbing strongly onto this thing. The most bizarre sensation occurred in my right hand while waking up, as this buzzing electrical presence started condensing and hardening into a physical object. It was hard like steel, about the diameter of a dime, and was firmly pressed up against the flesh of my palm. Thinking I had actually grabbed a real bug or cockroach that had been crawling on me, I freaked out and hurled it as hard as I could across the bus. It hit the floor and bounced several times, clinking and clanking loudly as a hard piece of metal wood against a steel bus floor. Immediately I realized the enormity of my mistake by not having looked at this object first, and I jumped out of bed searching frantically for the object. This was literally a physical artifact straight from the dream realm. I searched and searched for the life of me, but I couldn't find it. In retrospect, this was actually literally a glitch in the Matrix, because an object that had no origin in physical reality suddenly popped into existence. But because the phenomenon went against all the rules and syntax of the Matrix, it immediately disappeared back into potentiality, as if a sensor went, "This isn't supposed to be," and glitched it out of existence. It was literally a bug in the Matrix. Disappearing cockroach, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by New Nights. Only recently have I been thinking about this theory and ways to test about catching the program out and getting a glitch. Well, there has been a few experiences in my life which until now I never really thought about, but now I put them in the glitch category as they are not explainable. This one, though, just happened merely half an hour ago, and I haven't even started trying my experiments. I simply picked up my coffee cup. There was a cockroach on it. Pretty gross. It ran to the bottom of the cup, so I lifted the cup up so that I could find it and get rid of this thing, but when I turned the cup around, it wasn't there. Where is it now? I checked the entire cup over and over in confusion, and nothing. I checked my clothes, my arms, my hair, the ground around me. I checked everything. This thing had just disappeared into thin air. I knew that I saw the cockroach, but then clearly it wasn't just gone, and there is no way for it to have gone off the cup anywhere else, as I was standing in the middle of my room and I would have seen it, but all I saw was it ran to the bottom of the cup, but when I lifted the cup over, it was gone. and it wasn't on me as I checked over and over. It wasn't anywhere. There is no way that it could have traveled out of my sight in that instant. I almost thought I hallucinated the thing, and that there was no cockroach, but there's no way it was a hallucination. It may seem like a very small thing, but when you're so sure you have observed something impossible, it's very puzzling. One bright morning, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Kira Martin. This happened to me the other day. I still live at home, and not by choice. So some mornings I either don't hear my cell, or forgot to set it so my dad will kindly whisper my name from outside my door. Anyways, this particular morning I didn't have to be up early, the previous 2 days I had, so I was in bed asleep and I could have sworn I heard him do the whisper trick. I was so angry at him, I refused to come out and give him the time of day. Later on that evening I asked him if he had done so, and he adamantly denied. I found this so odd, I'm sure it has to be a glitch. There have also been times where I've been sure I've heard my phone and it wasn't ringing. Me and my sisters all shared the same recurring dream at different points in our lives, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Helena Dara. When I was around 4 or 5, I remember having a horrible recurring dream that would wake me up just as I was falling asleep. There was a huge room with metal walls and metal pillars were pounding on the floor, all at different rates. It was so loud it sounded quiet to me. Then I would see a little girl in a pink dress walking around the big metal room and leaving flowers wherever she stepped. I remember hearing a tinkling noise like bells with every step she took, but it was so quiet it seemed loud to me. I remember always feeling like the little girl was in trouble, and the metal pillars were so angry and dark that they were going to hurt her. I brought up this weird dream to my sisters around 10 years later, and after relaying it to them, they just stared at me and told me they had eerily similar dreams at different points in their lives. The dreams were all slightly different but shared the same thing: big metal pillars pounding so loud it seemed quiet, and a little girl in pink that produced a tinkling sound when she walked that was so quiet it seemed loud. We were all totally freaked out and didn't really discuss it any further, and to this day my sisters won't talk to me about it because it scares her so much. Is there some kind of scientific explanation to these weird shared dreams? If we had them all at the same time, I would chalk it up to something on our environment that triggered the dreams. But we had these dreams years apart. This has been bothering me for years, and I don't think I'll ever have a real answer, but I thought getting an outsider's input would shed some light on it. Unplugged headphones plug themselves back in, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Psychus. I'm still trying to make sense of this, but something really interesting just happened. I was playing a game on my laptop about an hour ago with my headphones on. I got a bit tired of the game and decided to get comfortable and watch some fight videos lying down instead. Because I decided to lie down with my laptop, I unplugged my headphones and took them off. I've been watching videos for about an hour, and suddenly there's a glitch sound coming from my speaker, and the video sound suddenly disappeared. Thinking it was a problem with the video or camera or my speakers, I then suddenly realized that the video sound was now coming through my headphones lying next to me, and they were now plugged back into my laptop. My lost stencil, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Dizzy Missy. This is a very simple glitch in the Matrix from my childhood, but one that has always bothered me. When I was 6 or 7 years old, my aunt gave me a nice box of craft supplies. In it were several stencils of various sizes and designs, and I remember very clearly that one day I was sitting on my bed and was playing around with one of the stencils, a square one with a bunch of different size circles. I stuck a pencil through one of the circles and started twirling it around on the pencil. I twirled it a little too hard and it went flying across my room. It never landed anywhere. I watched it spin off and go towards the wall, but it seemed to disappear in thin air. If it had hit the wall, I would have heard it or seen it, and if it landed on the floor, I would have found it because there was no furniture around the area. It just vanished after 15 years. It has never shown up again. I had a dream with my old crush for the first time in a really long while, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Broccoli12345678. Let me start by giving you context. When I was a freshman in high school, I had a group of friends. We formed a band and we had lots of fun together, but some things happened and now we don't talk anymore. Someone in that group of friends was the biggest crush of my life. She was always just a friend though. It's been a little over a year since her and I saw each other in person, and about 4 months since we last contacted each other. I remember that we would talk more and do more stuff together whenever she was on some kind of break for school, like spring break. And last Sunday night, Monday morning, I had a dream with her in it. I can't remember the last time that happened. It's been a while though. I've been out of school for medical reasons. I'm starting to transition back into school, and while I was going to do some work online, I discovered that all the schools in the district she's in are on spring break. I've never memorized when spring break starts for her district, and I don't remember hearing about the spring break starting from anyone else. That's it. I don't know what to think of this. Extra screw appeared, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Spate. I know that screws are a big problem for the Matrix, screws and socks and true love. I was working on an all-in-one PC and lost a screw. This was one of 2 special screws that anchored the hard drive enclosure. I had already tightened one in and was putting the other in when I slipped and pushed it into a hole in the case. I was like, crap, but then I will just put the rest of the screws and turn it over and try to shake it out. I hate having a screw in the case and you can hear it. I turned it over and 2 of the same special screws came out, so I wound up with 3 screws where there were only 2 before. 4 cigarettes, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by The Matrix Hears. I was sitting in the chair opposite of my girlfriend, her sister, her mom, and her mom's boyfriend. I take one from girlfriend's mom when she leaves the room. She had 5 cigarettes. I saw them. Her sister saw them. My girlfriend saw them. I smoke 1, so she has 4. Fast forward a half hour, I ask my girlfriend for another cig. She hands it to me. Her mom just let up a cig, so 3 cigarettes. I sat it down to save it for later. 15 minutes later, I go smoke it. It's gone. My girlfriend swears she never gave it to me, and her mom has 4 cigarettes again. Proof it's a glitch. When my girlfriend asked how many her sister had and noted her mom had 5, she had 4 and her sister had 3. Glitch in the Matrix? Friend's hat completely vanished. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Falcon96. In 2012, I was riding a bus home from school, sitting next to a friend of mine. She was wearing a blue Perry the Platypus hat. When she got off at her stop, she had left her hat behind. I thought, no big deal, I'll just take it home with me and return it to her next time I see her. So I took the hat, got off at my stop, went in the house, and tossed the hat in my closet, right on top of everything. I didn't put it away anywhere. I wanted it to be visible to remind me to return it. On December 22nd, we had a We're Still Alive party at my house because the whole apocalypse craze is on the 21st. This girl came to my party. I was like, hey, I rescued your hat a while back. I still have it, let me go get it. So I went upstairs to get the hat and it was gone. Completely gone. I emptied out the whole closet looking for it, but it was nowhere to be found. I told her I'd lost it and I'd give it back to her as soon as school starts, and I found it. In 2015, I moved out of that house. I never gave up looking for that hat. Yet, even when everything had been removed and the house was empty to its bare structure, The hat still was not there. It never did resurface. I never found it after nearly 3 years of searching. It's just simply gone. Thankfully, she didn't care that much. But it still bothers me.